There is a dangerous idea that many have accepted without questioning it. The idea that playing it safe is always a virtue, that avoiding risk is synonymous with prudence, that as long as you don't lose money, you are doing the right thing. It sounds reasonable. It sounds responsible. But when we take that mindset to the Bible, especially to Matthew 25, we encounter something uncomfortable. Jesus told a parable that does not fit the conservative, fear-based financial mentality. A master gives talents to 3 servants. To one he gives 5, to another 2, and to another 1, according to each one's ability. He did not give them detailed instructions. He did not give them a manual. He gave them resources and left. When he returned, he asked for an account. The first had doubled it. The second had also doubled it. The third lost nothing. He did not waste it. He did not steal it. He did not speculate recklessly. He simply buried the money so as not to risk it. And he was harshly rebuked. That detail completely changes the financial conversation. The problem was not loss. It was inactivity. It was paralysis. It was fear disguised as prudence. The third servant said something we often hear today. I was afraid. That phrase continues to govern financial decisions thousands of years later. Fear of investing, fear of starting a business, fear of expanding, fear of moving out of cash, fear of the market falling, fear of making a mistake. But in the parable, fear was not justified. It was condemned. The master replied that he could have at least put the money in the bank to receive interest. In other words, even the most conservative productive option was better than burying it. The expectation was not passive preservation. It was productivity. That forces us to ask a direct question. Are you managing your money so it survives or so it multiplies? Because in the kingdom of God, stewardship is not simply about avoiding losses. It is about producing fruit. From Genesis, we see the command to be fruitful and multiply. Creation itself was designed with a principle of growth. A seed was not created to remain a seed. It was created to become a tree. Capital works the same way. Stagnant money loses value. Inflation erodes it. Time wears it down. Burying capital in 2026 is not neutral. It is slowly moving backward. Ecclesiastes 11 says, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8, for you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. That is not poetry alone. It is diversification. It is risk management. It is understanding that the future is uncertain and that the best defense is not inaction, but strategy. Many believers confuse faith with passivity. But the Bible never presents faith as an excuse for financial negligence. Joseph trusted God, yes, but he also stored 20% for 7 years. He did not say, God will provide, while ignoring the economic cycle. He designed a system. He implemented a policy. He executed a national strategy. In Matthew 25, we see the same principle applied at the individual level. The master did not praise the one who kept everything intact. He praised the one who produced results. Well done, good and faithful servant. Faithful did not mean extreme conservatism. It meant diligence. And if you've made it this far, write in the comments, I choose to multiply my money with God's wisdom. Because without direction, multiplication can turn into disordered ambition. But with biblical principles, it becomes responsibility. Now, this does not mean recklessness. It does not mean emotional bets. It does not mean going into debt without calculation. The faithful servant worked the capital. He did not throw it to chance. The Bible supports calculated risk, not impulsive speculation. There is a huge difference between investing and gambling. Investing analyzes, gambling reacts. Investing plans, gambling improvises. Investing diversifies, gambling concentrates. Applying the strategy of Matthew 25 today implies several practical things. First, understanding that money is a tool, not a trophy. Second, recognizing that capital must be strategically allocated, not simply stored. Third, building multiple streams of income whenever possible, because relying on a single source increases vulnerability. Fourth, reinvesting profits to harness the power of compound growth. Compound growth is one of the most powerful financial forces that exists. Small, consistent increases produce exponential results over time. That reflects a biblical principle. Faithfulness in little precedes authority over much. Many want big results without consistent discipline, but in the parable, each servant received according to his ability. Ability is demonstrated by properly managing what you already have. The biggest financial mistake you can make is not losing money in a reasonable investment. It is never allowing your capital to work because of fear. Because fear immobilizes, and what is immobilized deteriorates. Today, we see people who prefer to keep everything in cash for years out of fear of volatility. But volatility is a natural part of any dynamic economic system. Markets rise and fall. Economies expand and contract. Cycles are not anomalies. They are repeated historical patterns. Those who understand cycles do not panic when they arrive. They position themselves. Those who have reserves can invest when others sell out of fear. Those who diversify reduce the impact of a single downturn. Those who plan for the long term do not live reacting to every piece of news. That is not a lack of spirituality. It is responsible stewardship. In Matthew 25, the master calls the one who buried the talent wicked and lazy servant. That word lazy is strong. It means careless, passive, inactive. He was not called a thief. He was called negligent. Financial negligence often does not show immediately. It looks like prudence. It looks like caution. It looks like humility. But over time, it reveals a lack of growth, a lack of vision, and a lack of productivity. The question then is not how much money you have today. The question is what you are doing with it. Is it generating anything? Is it producing returns? Is it growing in a structured way? Or is it simply waiting for time to pass? God will not hold you accountable for what He did not give you, but He will for what He entrusted to you. And here is something important. Multiplying is not idolizing money. It is honoring the giver. When you manage well, you reflect character. When you plan with wisdom, you reflect responsibility. When you grow what was entrusted to you, you demonstrate that you understand you are not the absolute owner, but a steward. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Two people with the same initial income. One decides to preserve everything out of fear. The other decides to invest prudently, diversify, reinvest, and maintain discipline. The difference will not be luck. It will be strategy applied consistently. The parable of the talents is not only spiritual, it is deeply economic. It teaches us that unproductive capital is a wasted opportunity. It teaches us that responsibility includes action. It teaches us that fear cannot govern stewardship. Because in the end, we will all give an account, not only for what we believed, but for how we managed. The decision is clear. You can bury your talent hoping that nothing bad will happen, or you can put it to work with wisdom, accepting that growth requires movement. The strategy of Matthew 25 is not reckless aggression. It is strategic diligence guided by biblical principles. It is not an obsession with accumulation. It is a commitment to multiplying what has been entrusted to us. The financial world constantly changes, but biblical principles remain: productivity, diligence, diversification, accountability, growth. The final question is simple. When the time comes to evaluate your stewardship, will you present preservation or multiplication?